All right, welcome into Coach Woodley's office as we go one-on-one coming off a 24-19 win at Butler, a nice win in the Bulldog Bowl. Score on the first play of the game, force 3 turnovers, and kind of set the tone for this 3-game stretch. What was your biggest takeaway from the Saturday win?
Yeah, it was I can't say that I envisioned that start just because of the respect that I had for Butler, but yeah, certainly a great way to start. Fast start. You're on the road. That's exactly how you want to do things. And we don't want to probably leave out Isaiah Bragg almost taking the opening kickoff back. He returned it to the 35 and got tackled by the kicker. Of course, we had to give him some crap about that. But that was a great way to start it. We get the ball on the 35-yard line, kind of out of your own territory a little bit, and then we line up first play and. Nick takes it the distance and certainly got our sideline on fire. And we had a great, we had a bunch of fans there. I know there's a handful of, former alumni that came back, guys that have played a long time ago, shortly, not that long ago. So that kind of made it give us a little home field, advantage, so to speak, because it was loud over there. And for us to start that way, and then our defense goes out and gets a stop right away. It was a really good way to start that game, especially being on the road against a good opponent. And there was a lot of good things in that game, but certainly started the way we wanted it to, no doubt.
Yeah, offense, defense, special teams, that complementary football that's really shown up for you guys this season. Another thing that continues to jump out is the play of your true freshman quarterback, Logan Inagawa. 72% completion percentage right now. How important is completing the football within your all's offense?
Yeah, I'd say it's important in about any offense, but he somehow makes it. I don't want to say easy because I know it's not, but that's just kind of his demeanor, and that's how he is. He just looks so poised all the time and confident in the pocket, and he made a number of big plays for us on Saturday, as he has, the last several weeks. And I just think he's just continuing to get better and better and better, the more reps that he gets in those games and certainly out at practice, because he wasn't getting those reps early on, and now he's starting to get all of them, and it's really showing up on game day, and he's able to transfer practice, out to the game. And not all quarterbacks can do that. Sometimes practice, it's a little bit easier to see everything, but everything speeds up on game day, and I just don't see that happening to him right now. I'm sure there's moments that they do, but not to jump too far ahead, Michael, but the play he makes on 4th and 3 when I decided to go for it there on the 40 at the end of the game, and he kind of bails us out, makes a play, gets it off to Jackson. Of course, Jackson makes the play too, but he's just again, I don't know that I would have done that had I not had confidence in him, but I thought he was playing a really good game, making really good decisions, and I thought he was going to make a play for us, and he certainly did. So but yeah, just awfully efficient, really, the last, because I think he was 10 of 13 last week, and right in that same ballpark again on Saturday. So he's just playing at a high level, and he's got to continue to do that in order for not to put too much pressure on him, but that that position, again, only certain people want to do it but I think he handles that in stride, and he's got to play well for us to be successful on offense, and he's certainly doing that right now.
To win 3 games or your final 4 games, you got to get that first one, and you do that against Butler. How do you feel how can you guys kind of capture that momentum as you roll into a big game against St. Thomas?
Yeah, I think it certainly did a lot for not that I don't think we were lacking confidence, but the more you win, you gain a little bit more, and you beat a team like Butler that's beat a lot of good teams this year, and you do it on the road. Long bus ride, it was the long bus ride that we knew we had this year, and it's whatever it was, 8 hours out there. We broke it up, but to do it and have all those things, I don't want to say working against you because nobody cares. I mean, people only care about what happens out on the field, but there's some things that come into play with that. But you've got to win the first, and that's the approach. We're not looking any further in the end of our nose. I said that a week ago. You got to focus on what's right in front of you, and And our guys certainly did that. We won a lot of the critical, tough plays in that game. Didn't win them all, as you'd maybe expect against a good team, and because their back was against the wall too, they felt like they were still in contention to win the conference. And I think they're a very capable team of that, because that's a good football team. They're really well coached, and for us to go over there and do what we did, I think tells you a lot about the guys we have in our locker room. And we were finally on the real plus side of some turnovers. I know you mentioned that earlier, Michael, but it was so critical, and it was really the difference in the game. And especially the last one that we got, we're backed up. We make a mistake on the kick return, we get a penalty. Our offense, we have to start a drive on the the minus 12-yard line. We're up 5. Midway through the fourth quarter, that's a tough deal right there. And in our offense, we go 3 and out. Didn't have a very good set there, but Schroeds gets a good punt off. We're hustling down the field, and they fumble the punt, and fifth-year senior Brett Wilson falls on it, and all of a sudden that game changed immediately. And again, I just think when you treat every play like it has a life of its own, you never know. There was a couple other plays that mattered in that game. Owen Pins blocks an extra point to continue to give us the lead at 14-13, which made them go for 2 later in the game. And Mikey, bats down a ball in the end zone, so it's 24-19. So now they need a touchdown to beat us. So every play matters, and it was no different there at the end where we get that. Logan gets the 4th and 3 to Jackson on the scramble pass. Woody gets a first down on 3rd down to seal the game. Like I said, I just think we won a lot of those tough plays, and you got to treat every play, really. And I know we've all heard it growing up as kid, like it's your last. And really, I think that's what you got to do to beat really good teams, and I think that's what we did Saturday.
5-0 now in the PFL. It sets up a massive game Saturday at home, Drake Stadium, noon, against St. Thomas. They've won their last 4 in the PFL after dropping their first 2, and they've done it in blowout fashion, at least 45 points in the last 4 games. When you look at their offense, led by Andy Peters, an Idaho transfer, he's really slipped in there and fit well in Coach Caruso's offense. When you look at trying to slow down that offense that has been putting up points, what are some keys?
Yeah, and it's actually College of Idaho. I played against this kid 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago over at Grandview. They beat us in the semifinals, and so I'm pretty familiar with this kid and how good he is, and I think he's kind of taken their offense to a whole new level from what they've been in the past. And to my understanding, I believe it's a kind of a whole new offensive philosophy. I don't want to necessarily say they're spreading it out and all that type of thing. I think they were fairly traditional in the past, to my knowledge, but they're a little bit more of what you see on TV a lot more so now. But they are going to test you down the field because they've got elite speed out at their wide receiver positions. It's probably the best group of skill guys we have seen since we played the Dakotas. And, we've got to be ready for that. They're going to take some shots down the field. We can't allow them to get balls over the top on us. They've really thrived on that the last 4 weeks, as you mentioned, and kind of knocked some teams out right away because of their ability for the big play. And the quarterback's a big reason for that. And plus, he can run it. He can scramble. He can get out of, plays that they don't want to be in. And I think they've got a good trio of running backs and a really good running game. I think they're first in about every category you can be in on the offensive, as far as offensive statistics go, and awfully impressed with them. We've got to be ready to roll Saturday, and with our defense, we certainly got to improve on some of the things that have haunted us. And not let them kind of create those big momentum plays, which they have done with those explosive plays. On the flip side, their defense, again, they're probably 1 or 2 in all categories, and very aggressive outfit. They're good up front. They're physical at the linebackers. They've got skill in the secondary. They thrive off takeaways. I don't know how many they have, but it sure seems like a lot. And we can't fall into the trap that a lot of these other teams that they've kind of put away early have done, because it's been explosive plays on offense, turn them over on defense, and then just kind of milk it away at the end type of thing. So, we've got to be able to withstand all those things that I'm talking about. And plus, it's a program that knows how to win. They've won for a long time. Their coach has been there a long time, and it's a really proud tradition. And it's going to be a heavyweight fight on Saturday. So, but the good news is you want to be in these situations. We're in the second week in November, and we're still competing for a conference championship, and that's right where you want to be. And and their backs against the wall. So you're going to get everything they have, which should make you be ready to play. And I told our guys Saturday. It's a decision, you got to make to be ready to play. It's not just, oh, am I ready or not? It's a decision you got to make that you're ready to do this, and wouldn't have it any other way, to be playing meaningful football here in November.
This game Saturday, it's shaping up for a great contest between two of the hottest teams in the PFL. Also, weather looks great. Noon kickoff right in the middle of the day. I know there are some other games in the state later on in the evening that will draw some attention, but just kind of what's a pitch to a Des Moines native? Like, hey, let's get the family out here and watch a little football.
Yeah, it's and I know Brian's coined it, Des Moines' hometown team. Let's come out and support this team. We're playing for an awful lot this Saturday, and like you said, it's I've been in second week in November where it's miserable outside before, so mid 50s, and no reason not to come. Come check this team out. Got a lot of local guys playing as well, and really, for that matter, just a bunch of really good kids that are doing this thing for the right reasons, and playing real high level football right now.
All right, that's good stuff. Head coach Joe Woodley here in our weekly check-in.